our next panel, when I was putting this group together, I was talking to actually Claudine, and she was like, oh, you got the innovators and the risk takers of Inglewood. And I was like, oh, I like that. So this next panel is going to be the innovators. It's going to be the people that I look up to, who I've been working side by side these past 3 years, watching them grow as they watch us grow. So that's what this next panel is really about, the state of their business, the great things they were able to accomplish during this pandemic. So I'm really excited about this. Are all the mics up? Okay, cool. So you got your cue card?
Check.
I'm wait on Terrell. I'll start introducing everyone. Let's see. So, as an attorney who has represented a variety of clients across the entertainment, cannabis, financial service industries, in intellectual property and complex commercial litigation, she's just really smart. Okay, that's that. She is the co-owner of Sip and Sonder. If you've ever been to Sip and Sonder, amazing, beautiful space. I know a lot of people who have started businesses in that coffee shop. We love them so much. I want to bring Amanda Jade to the stage. Give her a big old hand.
As a young man, he worked on the ice cream truck. I'm pretty sure it was probably him, rolling down the street with the jingle. No, I was giving him a hard time. But now he owns his own ice cream shop. He has the only ice cream shop that has been serving Inglewood residents for the last 5 years. Everyone welcome Jay Allen of Jams Creamery.
So when you walk into this location, you notice the inspiring mantras, the leafy photos that go all the way up to the door. She is the mastermind behind all the marketing and experience. Basically, she runs the show over there. All the campaigns you see, the community outreach you see. She's a partner in the franchise. I want to welcome Tara King from Hilltop. Oh my gosh. She's like, why are you? I didn't even know I was going to be on this panel. She knew.
And then after realizing, we'll wait for the airplane a little bit. But last but not least, after realizing they were usually the only black people in the room, our next guests have made it their mission to bring more black people into the world of craft beer. The Hop Culture named the brewery our best new brewery in 2020. Please welcome the owners and my favorite beer, Vinny and Teo.
And my Beats family.
And my Beats family. Go to Hank's. I'm pretty sure they're going to tell you all the drink, all the new drops. So welcome, everyone.
Do you want to sit down?
Are you okay?
Okay. First question. Oh. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. So over the pandemic, you want me to scoot over? You good? Okay. Oh, Terrell. Okay. So, like I said, when I was putting this panel together, everyone I talked to was like, you got the innovators here, you got the risk takers here. During the pandemic, a lot of us, we had to pivot, we had to figure it out. A lot of us came in around the same time, building up our brand, building up our business, and we were all hit really hard. And one thing that inspired me and both Terrell and I, to keep going and trying was watching you all just be you, really. So I just want to start off by you all just kind of going down, reintroducing yourself, your business, and how this last year has really just been, how you guys have grown and found new opportunities within this space. Whoever wants to jump in.
I'll start. Hi, everyone. Amanda Jane, co-founder of Sip and Sonder here. I first want to just thank Marissa and Terrell. This is amazing. Thank you for having this space for us and holding space to commune and talk. So thank you. This past year, when COVID hit, like so many small businesses, our own, it was that moment of we're going to have to close our doors. We were about a couple weeks shy of our first year anniversary, and it really was even though that was a really difficult decision, it's if we want to ride this wave and open back up one day, then what do we need to do right now to be able to do that? So we furloughed our team pretty early on. We walked them through unemployment before knowing that there was going to be those throngs of folks. And then it was like, our business is having folks in our coffee house, right? And now we can't have folks in. So there goes the business. But but actually, how are we pivoting? How are you being innovative? We plan to move into manufacturing. It was part of our business plan. Initially, we had started down that process, but it was, okay, what can we do to pivot, and can we speed that up? Can we think outside of the box about what it means to, one, we want to keep our doors open, pay our rent, right, take care of our bills, but we also want to be able to, be back for the community and continue to engage, which is a huge part of what we were doing. So it's a lot of that, giving ourselves time to feel, I'm not going to lie, like there was those weeks where it was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty crushed and defeated, everything that I've worked towards, being a lawyer for years and not loving that because everything that I got from that I wanted to put into something I believed in, and then you see it come crashing down. You're like, I don't want to think I'm a failure, but I'm feeling like it, But again, so taking that time to really just be like, okay, I'm going to have my emotions and regroup, but then being like, okay, let me dust off. How can we what do we need to do? Kind of having that hustle spirit of, all right, let's do this. Let's try this. And some things work, some things don't. But I think it was very much Shanita and I, my co-founder, who's in the audience, just really not being afraid to just try something, try new things, and really pivot, be creative, thinking outside of the box. We were able to start our manufacturing part of our company during COVID, which is amazing because through that, so much, adversity and sadness and heartache that COVID has caused so many of us and so many people that aren't here, those nuggets of light that still has shown through, and that's one of those where there's been creation even with so much sadness and terminalness going on. So that was something that we're really grateful for and are continuing to push that. Thank you. Yeah.
As she stated, I really want to thank you guys. It's a pleasure and an honor for us to be, even here, thought of, because, honestly, I am the founder, but, we see ourselves as a family business, not this huge conglomerate. Of course, we're not. But to even be thought of or seen as, a thriving business in Inglewood, it's a compliment to us. Because like Marissa said, honestly, I embrace the name that when they say with Risktakers, because honestly, I don't know about the rest of the panel here, but with starting this thing, it wasn't like, I personally could go to the bank and say, hey, let me get a loan for what have you. It was like, it was, hard-earned money that, I worked hard for and saved over a number of years. I'm an old guy now, so I can say a number of years and mean that, So, it's like a risk that I took, a risk that I felt was necessary because, it got to a point where I felt, tired of, working for the man, so to speak. So, I'm happy to have made it this far in what we're doing. And, we obviously and honestly see us doing a lot more in the field that we're in. Obviously, ice cream sales, period. Everybody loves ice cream, and that's what we're doing. Over this past year, it's been tough, like really, really tough. I, like most probably other business owners, we thought hard about the idea of having to close and where will we go from there. We had to come up with ideas, things, how, when, and where we would pivot, what would make the difference, and so forth and so on. What honestly helped us a lot, we have Uber Eats, Grubhub, Postmates, all 3 or 4 or 5, however many of them is, we got all of them. It was important because obviously, people weren't out. People weren't wanting to be out. Nobody was in, ice cream is kind of a festive sort of thing. You go out with your family, your loved one, your friends, and, you go eat ice cream. Clearly, through that year of the pandemic, nobody was in that mood. Not only that, the city said don't come out. So, we partnered up with, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Postmates, so forth and so on, and it kind of kept us afloat for a while. It kind of kept us afloat. Then we went on and we started our own little online ice cream space where you can go to jamscreamery.com and order and just pull up. It was like a curbside pickup. That helped us out tremendously. One other thing that a lot of people probably don't like to talk about, but we embrace it, that PPP situation. It worked out well for us. It helped a lot. It didn't take us over the top. It didn't change the colors of our logo, none of that good stuff. But, again, it helped a lot. It was tricky with us personally. It didn't work the way that it was intended to work. But what they did do for us helped us out a lot. We were kind of at our wits' end once it finally came through, and, it kept us afloat. This is we're going into our 6th year now, so I think it would be safe to say that we made it through the pandemic. Nice. We're proud and happy to say that.
Yeah.
We're also proud and happy to say that we are an African American business here in Inglewood that's here to stay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tara King. I am the marketing manager at Hilltop Coffee and Kitchen. My fiance happens to be one of the co-owners, Yoni Hagos. Low-key, while everybody was talking, I got a little PTSD from from the past year. 2020 was obviously really challenging for all of us. I think one of the things that helped Hilltop to sustain in particular was that we're a coffee shop. We hold space for people to come in and work and commune with one another. And like Sip and Sonder, I think in that space, in La Create space, I think in that space, a co-working space really met a need in the community. And so our places, Slauson and Inglewood, were lived in, and people really were able to kind of take ownership of these spaces. And I think, I know that once the pandemic hit and we were kind of scrambling about what we were going to do, our community really showed up for us in the way of dollars and showing their support, because I think people wanted to see us stick around. Like, I'm sure a lot of these other businesses, all of our regulars, really made it a point to talk about us, to share us. And then some of our community partners that we had prior to the pandemic kind of used us as a vehicle to meet a need with frontline workers, seniors not getting meals. So early on, we turned our kitchens into commissary kitchens at all of our locations, and we're just pumping out meals for seniors in partnership with the council member's office, with Beyond Meat, with Frontline Foods. Then we had to start doing delivery, and thankfully, because of that, we did not have to let go of any of our employees. Hours were cut. We did have to receive help, which, helped us to stay afloat. And then also the movement, with the murder of George Floyd, and people, us as Black folks, really knowing how important it is for us to spend dollars with one another. But then, a larger conversation around the fact that we need to uplift businesses like ours. People really did show up with their dollars in that way. And so we not only survived during that time, but we did thrive. We had lots of plans prior to the pandemic, which was to open a 3rd location. And thankfully, we were able to do that still in the midst of all of that. And the word that everybody has set up here is pivot. Like, that was literally... that word was so worn out last year. We got to pivot to online ordering. We got to pivot to, closing our stores. We, at one point, the grocery stores was crazy, like we couldn't get toilet paper. We have these relationships with these large vendors, our paper products. So we're like, hey, we got toilet paper here if you need it too. If I'm going to Ralph's up the street, or, and there's no toilet paper. This is the neighborhood we live in too. So it was really just trying to figure out how we can meet a need in a different way. And and really just about that community. I feel like, my role as marketing and connecting and community space was really just trying to remind people that we were all in it together, to try to keep that positive energy flowing. We definitely pivoted to Hilltop at Home, which was, okay, you're still working on your goals, you're still working on your dreams, but you're not in our space. But what does that look like outside? So, it started taking us into the space of a lifestyle brand, being able to, get in the zone at home. So we did mindful meditations, we did, different ways to kind of engage our community like we had done before. Not just from a business standpoint, but just still trying to connect with our audience. So that's basically how we were able to stay afloat, and I think we're here to stay too. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Hello. Last year, I don't even think I need to say anything about last year. The one thing that we had on our side is the alcohol sales did not go down last year. Matter of fact, they went up. So I think our biggest challenge is we were right in the process of finalizing and securing our opening of our own facility, or at least locking the property. And with things being so uncertain last year, that requires a lot of finances. It requires a lot of commitments that no one could actually commit to last year. So pivot isn't even the word for what, we had to do. Our original business plan was to start with a brick and mortar and do direct sales to consumers. Instead, we pivoted to packaging, which ultimately ended up being a really phenomenal business model for us and learning experience for us to really understand how to sell beer in a larger market and through our retailers. So we went into a contract brewing model, and I'll let Tio explain that more. But I think for us, this is our 6th/7th year in the craft beer space. We've always really wanted to create change in an industry, let the plane go by, that has never really seen owners that look like myself and Tio. And to put products on shelves where you can really feel and see yourselves in the products. For Black History Month, we did a really beautiful can that highlighted Black women, all shapes and sizes. You will definitely not see that on a craft beer can, in Whole Foods, in Total Wines, etc. So we're excited to still be able to be here. Next year, we do plan on opening our actual taproom production space, so everyone can come and have a pint. But it has been hard. But I think last year gave us all an opportunity to be better. If you were prepared for it as much as you could have been prepared, you are only going to come out of this stronger. And I think the people that you're seeing on this stage are significantly stronger than they were 365 days ago. So salute to all of us for at least being able to still be here. But I'll turn over to my partner to tell you more.
Yeah, thank you, especially to La Create Space. I mean, what a lot of people don't know is when we did our initial crowdfunding campaign announcing that we were going to open a brewery, the team at La Create literally helped us put together our video, our pitch video. So we do have roots together. It's really fun, especially with everybody on the panel. Like, I mean, from getting my favorite oatmeal at Hilltop to stopping in, getting some ice cream, and just sitting out in front of the shop or sipping sound. I mean, this is literally family. And one of the things that you had just mentioned was George Floyd, and I'm not sure that we yet have the language to really talk about what his murder meant for us in terms of everything that happened prior to that, everything our ancestors went through prior to that, and it almost felt like a knight being knighted. That you had done everything that you possibly could to be prepared as an entrepreneur, and then this happens, and you are then being given all this energy from your ancestors, from your family, from your community to literally live in your truth. And, I would say that Benny and I truly did that. We were unapologetically black throughout this entire experience. It was an exercise in us always trusting that what our instincts and what our DNA was telling us was correct. We have been told for so many generations, for so many years, and working in our previous careers, that our ideas and our process wouldn't be respected and it wouldn't earn money, but it was earning money for them. It was earning money and creating brands for them. And this moment, 2020, it was a blessing. As hard as it was truly one of the biggest litmus tests that we've ever had in terms of trusting our blackness and trusting our ingenuity and our innovation. We took a model that really wasn't extremely popular, which was contract brewing. We chose to work with 2 different facilities, one in Northern California and one here in Inglewood. And we just leaned into our branding, our marketing, our recipe design strategies, and made sure at a time when everybody was questioning products, questioning owners, questioning companies, that they had the answer in T.O. and Benny and Crowns and Hops. And so far that's been a pretty amazing journey thus far, and we're excited to have you guys over the same way that La Create is doing, which is creating spaces for us to have these conversations and to give each other affirmations. So thank you again.
Yeah, thanks, y'all. Let's give them a round of applause, everyone. So, we all have brick and mortars. It's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen.
Next year.
It's going to happen. So we always talk about gentrification in terms of people, moving to a city to kind of take it over. I kind of wanted to take a different approach on this. I know that we really want to see more brick and mortars. When you walk down the street, a lot of times in our neighborhoods, you really don't see businesses, right? And all of these businesses are, extremely different. We have different use cases. I think, Hilltop and Civic Sonder are it's still different. Again, it's just more so. But really, what were you gonna say? No, it's more so just about how do you guys see gentrification in terms of businesses and really establishing more kind of brick and mortar businesses that make our community look like businesses going on.
Did I turn my mic on?
Maybe.
Or somebody's controlling my?
Let's see. If not.
You know what? I have experience with this. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I have experience with this. I don't know why I'm having so many technical difficulties. I know how these audio situations work. To answer that question from the gentrification standpoint, AJ, I'll just talk about Hilltop for a second. AJ and Yoni are from here. My fiance grew up right around the corner here in Inglewood. We live here in Inglewood. And I think, those of us that are from this community know how amazing this community is and has been. And so it's super important for us to be able to enrich it and kind of preserve the culture that exists here. And sow seeds here. So I think it's really important. We have, these big corporations that are coming in and wanting to, have roots and settle in here, but we need to encourage others to plant seeds here. That's what I'm really trying to get at. I think these conversations are great. I just had a gentleman ask me kind of how did we do it? And I think that it's an important conversation. People see businesses and they don't really understand all the things that go into making it happen. It's not impossible, but it's a lot of work. And I think that, we would benefit others to have more conversations like this, to share our stories. There's a lot of levels to ownership. There are operators, there are people who want to invest in business, there are people who have ideas, and so we have to do a better job to connect the dots with one another. Incubate an idea and see it all the way through, but then once that idea has been incubated, start to share within your network. All the people who are invested in Hilltop are people of color. So I think that's the gentrification conversation. I think the more that we can share how we got here with others will encourage others to want to plant roots, to kind of manifest an idea. And for us, you know, I would say like Sip and Sonder, we are similar, we're coffee shops, but at the same time, we want to be able to provide variety in our neighborhoods. We don't want to have to leave where we live to enjoy amazing concepts, quality food, quality ingredients, you know, these different types of things. We want to be able to have it walking distance. And if I go work in Sip and Sonder, you know, like I can't always get work done in Hilltop. So I need to go around the corner and I still need my coffee. So I'm going to come work over there. It's not a competition. It's about being able to have variety. It's about being able to build these things within our community so that these big brands or corporations that come in can't run us out because we've already planted our roots here.
Yeah, to touch on this gentrification, obviously it has been the catchphrase for the past 2 years. Everybody, gentrification, and it's real. We all know, in fact, it's real, and it is what it is. We, me, you, the next guy, we're not going to stop it. It's happening here in Inglewood. It has happened in several cities, and it will continue to happen in cities moving forward. The deal is, you know, we as a people have to understand that. How do we involve ourselves in it? You know, we over here at Jams, our ice cream parlor, we had 650 square feet that we've been open for the past 5 years. 2 years ago, I leased the building next door, having nothing to do with much outside of the fact that I knew that we needed to be bigger. We needed to not be seen as, oh, that little ice cream parlor, that little ice cream parlor. Saying that to say that, you know, us as a people, we have to start making moves little by little. I had the additional space next door for 2 years. We didn't make a dime. Everybody kikied and ha-ha'd and laughed like I was the biggest fool. You could have some girls in there doing this, you could have some girls in there doing that. You can do this, you can do that. But it had nothing to do with, no. I mean nails. Nails are, you know, women, entrepreneurial women. Nothing like that. Please forgive me if I came off that way. I mean, you know, women, they're very innovative. They do nails, eyelashes, eyebrows, so sell clothes, you know. All the things came our way. But, you know, it didn't fit our business model. We believed in what we do. We didn't think, oh, yeah, well, we can go and sell T-shirts or cigars next door or blah, 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 blah. But we believe just like you can't go to Baskin Robbins and buy a T-shirt. You can't go there and buy chili dogs, chili cheese. So it was like nothing. If we can't open to sell ice cream, we didn't want to open. And that kind of supports what we're saying. Like, you know, we need to stay strong and believe and do what we do because what we do, we have to believe in it. You know, we have to believe in what we do no matter what it takes. I literally paid the lease over there for 2.5 years and didn't make a dime. But now it's open. And it's doing well. It's beautiful. I'm proud of it. And others, when they come in, they like, oh, good job. But now, you know, we can do a lot of other things. So basically, you know, we thought about it. We know that this gentrification is going on. So what do? Maybe we make it bigger. Maybe we make it prettier so we can be involved in what's going on. You know, a lot of times, you know, we have, you know, what we've seen. I heard it a lot, and I felt that way. Oh, yeah, that little ice cream shop. Oh, yeah, that little ice cream shop. Well, let's make it bigger, and let's see if we can take that name away, and maybe it'd be more, you know, the more people think, oh, yeah, well, you must be selling a lot of ice cream. You open that. It really isn't that. It's believing in what we do and, you know, spreading our wings. You know, if we don't get this spot next door, who's to say that gentrifiers don't come in and get it? You know, we have to take the opportunities and move forward because, you know, again, like I spoke on earlier, it's a risk. It's a risk. You know, I literally paid it for 2.5 years and didn't make a dime, but that was a risk that I chose to take. You know what I mean? We chose to take. And because we know that I want the next unit next door too. Honestly, I'm already planning on it. Somebody's there, but I'm already planning on it. I want the next unit. I have ideas. So we have to do these things. We have to take these chances. You know, you can have the money and hold it in the bank and feel comfortable with that, but I mean, that's not, you know, let's spend that money. Let's, invest in us, invest in you. Sitting in the bank is really not investing in you. It's not investing in us as a people. It's not investing in the community. So, if you got it, work hard for it, make something happen with it. This is the way. I mean, outside of that, gentrificators, if that's a word, they will take over. You know what I mean?
There's something Terrell and I always say, he probably already said it earlier, but it's, we want to be the they. Like, why can't we be the they? And similar to you, I know similar to Hilltop, you guys opened up a new store during the pandemic. We went and got the space next to us. We partnered with a fitness expert who's been in Inglewood for 20 years, and we decided to take a risk, spend more money, like you said, that we didn't have, and open up a fitness studio. And we were really nervous about doing like a demo, and to our surprise, 60 people showed up. And so it's like what you said, you never know until you try, and if we don't do it, someone else will, and then we'll be mad. Right. And I think Tara said it, having these beautiful experiences in our neighborhood. One thing I feel like we pride ourselves is, and I think all of us do, if you walk into our spaces, I see them in Whole Foods now, Crowns and Hops and Whole Foods. Well, what? You don't know that it's a Black-owned business. You just know it's a beautiful experience. And I really love that about all of us, is just we put thought and energy and love into what we do because we deserve these experiences.
I love the idea of contributing and revitalizing versus gentrification. One of the things, and Benny and I, after studying and looking at all the other craft beer models that we've seen around the country and even overseas, is there's nothing better than a gentrifier. There's nothing that a gentrifier loves more than to see something abandoned, because they know if you take a progressive business model and apply it to something that's abandoned, that their community will recognize it and patronize it. And I think that's one of the things that where we've been really seeding with our community, and up until the point of us actually having a brick and mortar, is to actively patronize Black-owned businesses and do it openly, to do it loudly, because our cultural capital is significant. And I think we have given it away to brands and to companies that aren't in our neighborhoods and that aren't in our family networks, to where we give it to other people then to even frame what gentrification is. I remember listening to KCRW. They did this special, and I was excited to hear it because it was about the coffee houses, and then somehow they snuck in the word gentrification, and they framed 3 coffee houses, highly likely in West Adams. They were like, that's gentrification. And then they went to Hot and Cool in Leimert Park, and they were like, this is beautiful. Look at, it's just like Do the Right Thing, and look at all the kind of hand-me-down furniture. And then they went to Hilltop, and they were like, these are Black people gentrifying their own neighborhoods. And it was like, wait, what? And I remember I talked to AJ very specifically, one of the owners, the co-founders, and he was like, that's not how they framed it when they interviewed me. They framed it with progress, and then when they delivered it over KCRW to the community, they framed it as Black people gentrifying Black people because they feel like we don't deserve anything that looks progressive. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm back. This mic works. Yes, that's crazy. I actually didn't know that story, but yeah, I think it's unfortunate that outsiders would think that we don't want nice things in our own neighborhoods, and we view our neighborhood with more of a loving lens, through a more loving lens than these outsiders do. And I think that there is a real renaissance right now happening with Black-owned businesses in particular. Like Marissa said about the thoughtfulness behind these concepts, behind these brands, from everything from intentionality of like what it is that we're trying to all do, to aesthetics. I think that we when we think about a Black-owned business, some of us may think about, orange and, I don't know, whatever color palette may be, you know, old mom and pops, or maybe some of us think that Black-owned businesses, you know, don't have great customer service. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, I feel like what we were trying to bring into this community was, again, good quality, good, cool concepts, something that's well thought out, that we can compete in the world, in the national stage, or however you want to put it. You guys in Whole Foods, you know, or with all these other brands, it's not, you're authentically yourselves, as we all try to be, but, and we're not trying to be anybody else, but still being able to exist in a world where we're leveling up and we're thinking about aesthetics, or how people interact with the brand and what they're taking away, the pieces that they're taking away. And there are a lot of people, up and coming business owners, that have kept that in mind. And that is to add value to the communities. It's not to, because the people who are gentrifying, they're just, it's an opportunity, but we have to be able to seize opportunities ourselves too, within our own communities.
Yeah, I think my biggest
It's interesting. I'm gonna
go ahead. I'm sorry.
pop in for a second. You know, it's interesting because I think that the narrative. I know this is me. This is my lawyer coming out. You know, Black women, you have to like. I'm gonna get a word in. But I think it's interesting. The narrative of this limited space at the top is something that is the narrative that exists in so many spheres and industries, because if you crack the code and realize that actually the top is very spacious, there's a lot of space, there's a lot of excess. That's the gem that folks don't want us to know and kind of tap into, because once we figure that out, then there's there's this, right? There's the fact that we can have, you know, whether similar businesses or different, but we're neighbors, we're communing, we're sharing resources, we're building, right? And I think that's the, you know, this is more of this is necessary. And I think that to your question, Terrell, about other businesses and how more businesses are gonna, you know, kind of how more of this can happen. That's the $1 million, you know, question, right? Because tangibly that's going to come down to, there's a lot of like real things that we all have experienced and know that are needed, right? We're talking about like capital, right? We're talking about you know, the marketing, the building, the customer base. There's so many things that tangibly are going to be needed. So it's, what are the, you know, how are we as current businesses that are there, what are we doing at all to move a needle at all? You know, I eat, sleep, breathe, sip, and sonder, and when I'm not doing that, I'm practicing, you know, law, but it's still like, okay, but what does it mean to have a business in Inglewood? What does it mean personally? You know, I am not born and raised in Inglewood, right? So there's also that, and being very mindful of that and not shying away from that. And being like, what does that mean, you know, to come into a place, and are you off? What are you offering, and are you being real about it? How are you being mindful about it? How are you not just, you know, come in and be like, okay, I'm here, you're welcome. But instead, okay, how are we actually working with and hearing and listening and being, you know, tangibly mindful of what does that actually, you know, mean and look like? And I think that that's the work that even with our plates being full, whether it's, okay, we have families or parents, we have our businesses, we have a lot of things going on. But what is that? There's a charge that I think we all have. There's that, you know, final charge, which is, as existing businesses, what are we doing to try to make sure that there's that door that's remaining open for other businesses? And it looks different for all of us, right? Because we all have different businesses, different models. And I think that that's the key, because it really is going to take that. We know that it's spacious up here, and we know that there's a lot of space for a lot of other Black businesses, no matter what they, you know, where they are. But it's, you know, it's going to have to come from that. One of the things that Shanina and I, in addition to Sip and Sonder, we have a nonprofit, the LA Black Investors Club, and one of, you know, our charge there is really, how are we creating and supporting entrepreneurial ventures? And it really comes down to, you know, individual, but that collective wealth creation within our communities, right? Like that's it's we, you know, this is so beautiful, because I think that we're it's that start of, as you know, we hear the big corporations that we know are going to become our neighbors in short, due time. What we're doing here, we need to be doing even more, because it's like, okay, we can't escape the fact that fill in the blank is, supposed to be a neighbor in a year from now, or this company will be, down the street. That's happening. It's real. So it's like, got it, check. So then what do we need to do? How are we mobilizing? How are we helping each other, right? Like, we have to help each other. Like that old school notion of just like each and teach one, or like, put a hand back. Everything that I have, is literally because someone extended a hand, that I'm even sitting here. I was like a girl in the hood in Brooklyn in public school, and there was a program that the whole charge of the program was, plucking kids out of, inner city schools that they thought had some promise to, put them on a track to kind of excel. And that's literally the result of, again, that extension. So we all know it, but it doesn't just translate. We know it in academia and education. It's same with with small businesses. But yeah, that's fine.
I couldn't agree with you more, or we couldn't agree with you more. Just a little stat: out of 8,000 breweries in the U.S., less than 1% are Black-owned, and out of that less than 1%, it's not even necessarily brick and mortar. So half of that is actual Black-owned breweries having their own space. And me and Tio understanding that huge void. Last year we created, we did two things actually. We did two initiatives. It was called 8 Trill Pills. Pilsner Initiative. The W.K. Kellogg Foundation created a business case for racial equity study that says by 2025, am I right, 2025, we stand to gain $8 trillion. No, 2050? Is it 2050 or 2050? 2050, apologies. Our national GDP stands to gain $8 trillion if we focus on racial equity as a whole. So with that, we did two initiatives. One was we brewed beer in 3 countries and donated all of the proceeds to organizations focused on racial equity. But I think more importantly, to really help address that less than 1%, we had a $100,000 grant where we were able to give funds to 5 Black-owned craft beer brands to help them in the business of beer. And I think to your point, as we are still raising money for our own brewery, and as we still are trying to figure it out for ourselves, we knew more importantly, there is enough space up here for all of us. We don't want to, first of all, I don't want to be up here by myself. It is no fun at all to be up here by ourselves without having our community and our friends with us so that we're all winning. And I think that's what's so important is we find in our community people feel so threatened by having your friend sitting right there next to you, sharing in the same rewards and glory that you're sharing in, instead of giving them an opportunity with resources and information and not being so precious with your ideas. I think if you have an idea, you can have another. You don't have to hold on to it as if it is no other ideas will ever happen again. You can give it away and come up with a whole other idea as an entrepreneur, as an innovator. And I think that's what's important about being an innovator is you can do it multiple times. And with that, you have to share the wealth, you have to share the resources, and we are struggling as a Black community to understand how to get the resources, how to use the resources, and how to build sustainable businesses. Not just opening your doors and winging it. How do you build an actual strategy for growth and success to open up that space right next door to the first one you had, and or opening multiple spaces around the U.S. and or the world. We don't even have to be just here. We can be global. But I just don't think that information is available to us the way it is to other groups, white people.
Yeah, and I
like Candyman. Don't say it too loud.
White people.
Come down and...
I was just going to add to that, the resource factor and like the hoarding of the information. I think in this community, in this country in general, there is we hear fear mongering, all that, but also this scarcity mentality is such a huge thing, and again, being pitted against one another, in terms of competition, I would say. in these times that we're living in terms of social media and all of those types of things, we are living in a culture of comparison. And so there's a mentality that, no, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm doing. I'm not gonna tell you where I got that. I'm not gonna tell you my vendor or whatever, whatever that case may be. But we have to be able to, like Amanda said, have more of these conversations, like you said, make these resources and the information more readily available so that we can see more of this. I mean, because otherwise, if we don't do that and then we speak on these topics, then we're just complaining without having any type of forward action. So as far as, I was just going to say this last thing, as far as like in my role, when we were open all the time and I would hear and see young entrepreneurs, it's also that community listening aspect of, okay, we've met a need in like needing to have a space, but also I'm hearing that like people need workshops, people need resources to how to get in this particular industry, how to actually do it. A lot of us have had to go through a lot of red tape through the pandemic to keep our doors open, do the due diligence, but some people don't even really know how to approach that. And so being able to provide that information, it really, it goes a long way.
1 second, please. Let me say one thing. Create Space, this panel that they put together, obviously we talk a lot. We're willing, ready, and able to talk a lot. I want to just add one little piece, and then because surely they have a platform that they have laid out, and we're just running all over it. Please forgive us. Please forgive us.
We know how black people do.
Right. That too.
About the white people, we got to talk about black people too.
I just wanted to touch on what Tio and, Tara spoke on in terms of us hoarding information. Really quick, I want to tell a story about how when I decided that, we're going to open an ice cream parlor. And obviously, I worked on an ice cream truck, like he mentioned, when I was a very, very young kid. I worked on a truck for about 5 years. Because of that, I always thought about ice cream. It was always something, not that I grew up thinking, I'm going to have an ice cream shop. I never thought that. The opportunity came for me to get a space. I got it. And I thought, what do I think would work in Inglewood? And that's what I chose. But the point that I'm trying to make, when I chose that, I thought, okay, well, let me go around and go to some ice cream parlors and figure it out, see if I can figure out, get as much information that I can from the ice cream parlors that I know around that are, quote unquote, African American. Because obviously Baskin Robbins, Stone Cold, all of them, they have nothing to say to me. There's no way I can get information from them. So I went to our people. 9 out of the 10 places that I went closed the door on me. Completely closed the door, wouldn't give me no information. I was like, well, what do you think? I'm thinking to myself, like, what do you think I'm going to do? Steal your what? Because you just have ice cream parlor. So I told myself when it happened, I'm like, man, if I ever open this ice cream parlor up and people come to me for information, I'm going to tell them everything I know, every freaking thing I know. And it has been like that till to this day. It's the truth. Anything I know. Anybody want to come to me and ask me anything because I experienced that, and it was our people, and it made no sense. I thought about, like, why are they doing it? Oh yeah, come back later. Oh yeah, no, he ain't here. Oh yeah, no. Just like 9 out of the 10 places. So I told myself, and that speaks exactly to what Tara and Tio was saying. We hoarding information. Why? From our own people? How do we move? How do we grow? How do we get bigger? So it's ridiculous, and make it a point of yours. To don't be that way. Help your people. Let's grow. Let's do it.
Yeah, so that's a great segue. Shameless plug, but it's a very important one. We have a platform called La Create Space Grow where we really try to partner with different type of organizations to really provide those resources in the community. And so this event is a result of a partnership with Square, with Martin and his team to really bring these resources to our community, because we don't know what we don't know. And if someone is coming to you to ask you something, that means that they don't know. So take the opportunity to really help them, because all these resources that we've been talking about today, we had the panel a little bit earlier about STEAM. It's all about teaching. It's all about empowering. We really are trying to bring together people. I think all of our organizations are doing that. And through the opportunities for us to bring people together, new things will arise. And so I really think that it's important about the resources. And I wouldn't be remiss to talk about Mickey and Grit 110. And there's some other of our cohorts here. And ultimately, if you don't know what Grit 110 is, it's a business development organization that is ran in the city of LA, and it brings together various numbers of businesses together and teach them how to run a business, how to stay afloat. And so if you ever get the opportunity, please reach out to Grid and try to apply. And this is for, businesses that are on stage and businesses that are going to be coming up. But really, I say that because it's important to invest in yourself. And I think resources, are out there. And as a business owner, you need to continue to invest in yourself. You need to continue to try to grow. This pandemic has allowed us to, invest in ourselves and learn how to be better business people, take advantage of opportunities, which is really what we stand by, because I think that people who are afraid to go out of their comfort zone, take chances, take a risk, don't want to say that you're not going to be successful, but your chances of being successful are heightened if you do go out and seek out those opportunities. And there's a lot of resources out there. There was a lot of black and brown guilt over the past couple of years. So we got to take advantage of that. We got to figure out ways that we can get in, partner with companies who have initiatives to, empower our communities, because they see the need as well. It's not just us from the inside. People from the outside are looking at us, as someone said, it's oh, that's an opportunity. Oh, they don't have this, so let me put this, and then they'll all come to me. And so we got to think that way. And I think that's really, one of the things that I'm really kind of passionate about. And our mission has totally spun on its head over the past year. And I think me and Marisa, we started this business because we had a lot of information that we wanted to give. We had, people who would come to us and say, how do you build a website? How do you make a logo? How do you do some branding? And so we're hey, let's just build a space for our friends and people like our friends, and we can help them grow their business. And from that, we're here today. And so that was, 3.5 years ago. Actually, it was even before we even got married. So this is 7, 8, 10 years ago when we first met, that we both kind of had the same passion, the same mission. And so that continues to be true today. And so I don't know if you had anything else to follow up on, if anyone had anything to say. But.
No, but I just want to thank you guys all just for agreeing to do this with us, continuing to inspire us, inspire everyone. I was watching TV the other day, seen Benny on TV. Oh, is that Benny? Rewind it. What? It's just so exciting to see everyone grow, and it's not a feeling of, oh, why are they growing? I'm not, it's nothing like that. It's literally wow, I know her. What? Oh my gosh, literally, so I admire, I appreciate you all. I don't want to take too much more of your guys' time, but if you guys have any closing arguments, I'm looking at the lawyer, closing arguments. If you have any inspiration you want to leave us with, Inglewood's, you're originally from Inglewood, aren't you?
Yeah, I was born in Centinela.
Yeah. If you want to start first, we'll give you the honors.
But I will say the way my mind works now, 3 years into just being 100% an entrepreneur, is all I'm thinking right now is how do I create a recipe with coffee, ice cream, and a stout. It's going to happen, and it will be Inglewood ice cream stout. It's coming. All I'll say is I encourage everybody to think like that. We got to understand that operating from a place of scarcity was conditioning, generational conditioning. And if you look at anybody that is extremely successful or wealthy, they give information away like they know they're not going to run out of it. And I think we have to adopt those philosophies and continue to come up with ideas like a coffee ice cream stout, and it's be celebrated and patronized by the same community that we live in. So thank you, La Create Space.
Just to close out, if right now we're currently being sold in about 400 plus stores. Thank you. We're in 29 of the 58 counties in California. We just did a release in Atlanta, a small release in New York, in Vegas, in Portland. God, he's the beer guy. I'm trying to keep up. But if you do need to find our products, which we hope that you please do, we have a beer locator on our website. But from a big retail chain, Whole Foods, Total Wines and Spirits, and we are in the SoFi Stadium.
What?
Yeah, very excited. Inglewood.
Okay. I'm just gonna say that I'm just gonna give a little bit of inspiration. Find your hilltop. No, I'm just gonna say, don't tell yourself no. Let other people tell you no. Go do the thing. Put the idea out there. Don't go through the whole process of talking yourself out of it. Do it. Share it with people that are close to you. Find ways to connect and find more resources. Reach out to people like us. My door is always open in terms of partnerships, community, organizing, whatever I can do to kind of make things happen. I'm always trying to find ways for Hilltops to support organizations, big and small, folks who are trying to do things, always willing to share information. But tell me your name. Jay, like Jay said earlier about believing in yourself and really owning what it is, your uniqueness. I feel like that's the best thing that you can do for yourself, and having confidence in your own space. All of us, I think, were able to really survive by remaining true and authentic to ourselves and doing your due diligence. If you're going to do it, don't half-ass it. See it all the way through. It's going to be a lot of work. Everybody up here will tell you that owning a business is not glamorous by any stretch of the imagination. So be willing to put in the work. The rewards are well worth it, I would say, though. So that's all. And thank you, Marissa and Terrell. You guys, this is amazing what you guys are doing to support all of us constantly. You guys are always supporting us and trying to find ways to partner with us. And I'm grateful for these new connections. I know you know part of our ownership, but we haven't met personally, and, finding ways that we can all continue to work together to support our community.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you two for creating this opportunity for us to talk and come together and understand, probably try and put an understanding out that it's important, like she just spoke on, we all touched on it, it's important that we believe in us as individuals, and invest in yourself. We can't continue to go on and work for the man. Obviously, we have to at some point, but we have to have the desire to do better, to want better. You know what I mean? We all, like I was telling my son this morning, I want to YouTube, I want to be to this and that. I said, okay, well, you need to create a vessel to get you there. You can't just wake up and be a business owner. It just doesn't work like that. You have to work your way up. But, you want to be a YouTuber, so what are you doing to get there? You want to be a business owner, what are you doing to get there? So again, you just have to believe in you and keep pushing. Like she said, it is hard as you know what, but it's rewarding at the end of the day. And again, thank you guys so much for creating this space for us.
Yeah, just echoing what everyone said. Thank you. Ask for what you want. Always ask for what you want, and approach anything that you do with love and conviction, and you'll be all right. So thank you, Terrell. Thank you, Marissa.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all so much. You guys all be in Leimert Park tomorrow? Everyone? Yeah? No? Yeah?
Ooh, shameless plug. For those who will be in Leimert Park tomorrow, we are doing a beer garden in partnership with Soul Folks and Stella, Georgia. It'll be in the garden right next to Soul Folks in Leimert Park. So if you want some beer, please stop by.
And if you're going to be in Inglewood before you head to Leimert, we're having 9 to 12. We're giving away all free everything at Sip and Sonder, courtesy of the Rams. And then 12 to 3, free cold brew for everyone, courtesy of the Lakers. So we expect long lines, but we just want to, we're going to get those corporate dollars and to give it back.
Hey.
So come out and get something free. And then I know I'll be hustling over Leimert after, so we're going to show the love everywhere.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Woo-hoo.